Hey, welcome back to Liz's Leaves. So today, as requested, we are going to be filming what I have in my greenhouse cabinet. The type of lights that I have on top, these are grow lights and I got them off of Amazon. I will link all the stuff that I'm using down below. So the lights are actually really nice. They have a timer for 2 hours, 4 hours, and for 8 hours, although I usually leave my lights on for 12 to 14 hours every day, and my plants are responding really well to the white light. I know there's some controversy between the pink light versus the white light, but I've had no problems with it so far. So you can also change the brightness of the lights on the little switch. So for the cabinet, I got this off of Facebook Marketplace. It was $50 and handmade, all by someone local just down the road from me. Let's get right into the cabinet. The first thing that I have in here is just a Monstera Sonya plant. This was a recent propagation that I potted up, and it's put out a lot of new growth since being in the cabinet. Next, I have this single leaf Monstera Sonya propagation. It has recently just pushed out a new growth point. This is my Mandula pothos. This was a cutting from my mother. Only about 3 of these leaves are original. The rest is new growth since being put in the cabinet. This is my Peperomia. I love this plant. It was just 1 or 2 of these stems when I first got it, and it's really filled in since this summer. So I have no idea what kind of Peperomia this is, but it does have little pink orangey stems, which are very pretty, and the leaves are pretty thick. So I've just been taking some cuttings and putting them in my prop boxes since this plant tends to grow a little too tall for the cabinet. So next, I just have this little Cebu blue pothos. I recently potted this up in my Dollar Tree DIY video, and it's putting out a little new growth point right there, if you can see it. So this is another plant that I bottom water. It just sits in a little tray, and I just fill up the tray when my plants are looking a little thirsty. This is a polka dot plant. I'm not sure the scientific name for it. I've only ever known this to be a polka dot plant. The only original leaves on here are the lighter color leaves. Those are the older ones, and then all of these leaves with the yellowy dots, these are all new growth since being in the cabinet. This is my Hoya Memoria. It just pushed out a new leaf right after dropping one. They grow in pretty dark, kind of reddish, and then once they're fully matured, they look more like this. Apparently this Hoya is a little bit more rare. It's just harder to come by, so I'm excited to have this in my collection. This is my Begonia. It's not Immaculata, but I'm not quite sure what type it is. It does have the dots just like Immaculata, but the undersides of the leaves, they aren't as red. So this is a propagation off of the bigger plant in the back that I just potted up. This is one of my favorite plants. It grows super fast, whether it's in the grow cabinet or out of the grow cabinet. I love how the leaves are shaped and just everything about this plant. So next I have this Hoya Crimson Queen. It usually gets confused with the Princess because they're the same color, but with the Princess, the white variegation is on the inside instead of the outside. So I just took this cutting off of one of my larger plants, and it's rooted up really well. So I recommend getting one of these if you come across one. So next I just have this Philodendron micans. This is probably my favorite plant right now. I got this plant for around $25, which is quite pricey for a little plant like this. Micans are really highly sought after right now, which doesn't quite make sense because of how fast they grow. So after this has kind of settled in after being shipped, it pushed out 2 little new growth points right there that will soon turn into leaves. Next I have my Scindapsus Pictus exotica. This plant was also from Facebook Marketplace, and all of this is new growth. It's also filled in quite a bit since I've got it. I usually just water these when the soil is completely dry, and a tip with these is that if the leaves start to curl or bend over, you know that it's time to water them. So to water these plants, I usually have a little bowl or a saucer, so when it looks thirsty, I just pour some water in and it sucks up what it needs. Bottom watering also helps prevent fungus gnats, which I struggle with, so I highly recommend bottom watering if you can. Next, I have this propagations of donkey tail succulent. I potted these up in one of my last videos and they've grown quite a bit since. So these have adjusted really well. I put these in the cabinet so that they could have full sun all the time. Since we are going into winter, the sun is getting less and less, and I just wanted to give these a fighting chance. This is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I recently gave this a big makeover. I chopped off its really long, flowy stem. Just a lot of the nodes, they didn't have leaves on them, so I decided to stick them in my prop boxes, and now it pushed out a new leaf and there is a new growth point forming. So I do have 2 prop boxes in my cabinet. In the first one, I just have some of the Rhaphidophora nodes. Those are these ones. And I have some Philodendron Brazil, I have Monstera Sonya, and some of that Peperomia. Also just some random nodes that I don't know what they are, but that's the exciting thing. You will only know when a new leaf comes up. So this is my other prop box. I am keeping an avocado in it. It recently just cracked, and that is the first step to growing an avocado. You first want to peel the skin off out of it and then stick it in some water, or in my case a prop box. I've never done this method before, but it seems to be working. I have some of the Begonia, I have some of that Peperomia and Rhaphidophora. This is a piece of a Begonia stem, so we'll see how this turns out. Maya. To root a Peperomia like this, you don't need a node. You can just take a stem cutting and it will root, whereas most other plants need to have nodes. So that is all that I have in my grow cabinet right now. So I am working on getting a Millsbo IKEA greenhouse cabinet, just so I can put some more rare exotic plants in, so I'll be able to give them enough humidity and light. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see in the next one. Bye!